There are always curveballs in the draft, and this mock draft exercise has certainly produced some chaos. We're keeping it rolling with picks 19 through 24 next on Locked On NBA Draft with no ceilings.
You are Locked On NBA Draft with no ceilings. Your daily podcast on the future stars of the NBA. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Merry Christmas and welcome to Locked On NBA Draft with no ceilings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. My name is Tyler Metcalf. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Join me as always, Tyler Rucker. Rucker, how are we doing?
Hanging in there. Got a little cold, this time of the year, but Metcalf, ball is life. We love basketball. We love hoops. So not gonna miss an opportunity to talk draft and talk hoops with you, sir. How are you doing? Happy holidays.
Doing fantastic. Merry Christmas, everyone. We're hanging out with you. As always, because what else are we gonna do? Who needs family when we have when we have mock draft time? Come on. Appreciate you all listening on Christmas or after or whenever. If you need a little break, we're happy to provide it. But hope everyone's having an awesome holiday, staying safe, staying warm, enjoying family, time off, whatever it is. Hope it's going well. But we got the mock draft exercise rolling. In case you missed it earlier in the week, Rucker and I did a breakdown on Jane Quaince's return. Make sure to go check that out as well. And we're just having some fun over this holiday week with this mock draft exercise. Today we're doing picks 19 through 24. Just to recap a little bit, the first 6 picks, 1 through 6, Rucker and I did on Monday. At 1, Darren Peterson to the Nets. At 2, Cameron Boozer to the Wizards. At 3, AJ DeBonsa to the Hawks. Still just an incredible pick by me. At 4, Caleb Wilson to the Kings. 5, Jane Quaintance to the Pacers. And at 6, Michael Brown Jr. to the Thunder. Now on Tuesday, things got a little crazy, apparently, because we let Maxwell and Nathan off the leash and allowed them to make decisions for themselves. And this is apparently what happens. Chaos. So again, these next 6 picks, I cannot emphasize enough, are from those guys. They had really good explanations, really good evaluations, reasoning, all that good stuff. Make sure to go check out that interview, or not that interview, that episode. But at 7, Kingston Flemings to the Hornets. 8, Yaxel Lundeberg to the Jazz. At 9, Christian Anderson to the Mavs. 10, LeBaron Philon to the Bucks. 11, Koa Pete to the Trailblazers. 12, Adai Mara to the Bulls. Then on Wednesday, Corey and Albert went through 13 through 18. At 13, Nate Ament to the Grizzlies. Hans Steinbeck at 14 to the Spurs. Raylan Mullins at 15 to the Warriors. Darius Acuff at 16 to the Hawks. Incredible value there for Corey. 17, Thomas Houck to the Heat. And at 18, Bennett Sturts to the Memphis Grizzlies. We got it. Any instant reactions on that top 18?
I think my number one takeaway would be Darius Acuff is tremendous value, as you just said. But to everyone that listens, thank you very much. To everyone that asked always for, timestamps and everything, we just gave you the recap in the first, 4 minutes. So I hope you got a cheat code there. And yes, we'll add some timestamps. But no, Metcalf, look, we do. The one thing I always try to tell everyone is we've probably done like over 50 mock drafts already this year, if we're counting up everywhere we've done them. So it's like we try to get creative and think, hey, what could be an outside the box fun one instead of projecting the same thing every single time. So looking and saying like, okay, Yaxel Lendenberg in the top 10 might seem really aggressive for like a 23-year-old, but also I'm like, man, I really like that fit for Utah. That'd be a fun one.
It's the highest BPM in Bartorvik's database.
Yeah, Daimara, people might be like, hey, that's a little rich right now. And it's like, well, he's 7'3" with tremendous playmaking ability. I think we could see some team really buy into that.
Almost like we saw that just last year.
Yeah.
Mr. Young
Hansen. So it's always funny to everyone being like, that would never happen. And you're like, oh yeah, were we all projecting Young Hansen last year as a first round, almost top 20 pick or a top 20 pick? So you never know. The draft is about curveballs. So it's fun. This is fun exercises because you really go, oh wow, like let me open up my mind a little bit. Maybe this could get a creative curveball.
I was also just kind of thinking how this, top 20 or so compared to the last one. And in this range, when we did it, it's like, oh, there's some fun point guards to really swing on here. those guys are gone. They're off the board now. Like they've all creeped up into the lottery range. The guard class this year is so much fun. There's so much talent, and they just keep getting better and better and better, which is really scary.
The really fun guard class. And I think, that's going to kind of work on something for NoCeilingsNBA.com, but I'm going to write a written piece about this guard class because I think everyone's like, oh, the big three. And right now I'm like, everyone needs to be paying attention to the guard class is now the next storyline because there is super, super fun, legit talent at the point guard position and upside. So it's funny doing this mock draft exercise right now because you really just look at guards and point guards. You're just like, oh my gosh, they're flying off the board. But that tells you the depth of this class potentially.
Yeah, and I have a piece coming out this week as well over at NoCeilingsNBA.com, kind of focused on how the rapid increase in NBA teams pressing is weirdly enough coinciding with this incredibly talented guard class and how that could potentially shift some team building philosophies going forward. But enough on that. We got picks to make. I'm up with pick number 19, the Charlotte Hornets back on the clock. They took Kingston Flemings at 7, courtesy of Nathan. So I'm adding size. We're good on backcourt talent. We're good on perimeter talent. We're loaded there. Concanipple looks like the dude. Brandon Miller just get healthy. LaMelo Ball, Kingston Fleming, Liam McNeely. We're happy out there. Ryan Kalkbrenner, really serviceable center, having a really nice rookie season. But he's kind of all there is. Moussa Diabate, kind of fun. I want to add another big-time upside swing. I'm going Chris Senek from Houston. It kind of feels like he's starting to fall at consensus boards. I'm still cautiously optimistic about his game. I still really like his process. The game's just really fast. And once those pieces fall into place, though, I think all of his intangibles combined with the physical tools, the shooting upside, the defensive upside, I think he could be really nasty.
I think this would be an absolute home run value if Senak would still be on the board. I think he's fallen a little bit because it's so hard for people to be patient every time you're doing this. Like it's hard for us. You're looking at the same thing and you're just constantly waiting for someone to really hit the groove and stuff. But look, I have Senak still in my lottery personally. I thought this was going to be. We've talked about it preseason. I thought this was going to be exactly what we're getting. I thought he was going to be like, hey, he's not going to put up numbers. You need to watch the tape and see progression. I think you're seeing a lot of stuff you want to see with Senak. You're seeing him play hard. You're seeing him take coaching. You're seeing some learning curves, some mistakes. But, man, when he's clicking, when you get a good Senak game, oh, my goodness, you're like, look at this upside. So for a team like Charlotte, if hypothetically, you're leaving with Kingston Flemings and Chris Senak, that's a heck of a draft or a heck of a first round to pair with a great draft class from last year. Kingston Flemings and Hippo, that's an unbelievable field duo right there. Woo!
Well, and just keeping Kingston Flemings and Chris Senak, college teammates, tied together forever. No, I'm kidding. All right. Well, I went a little long with my recap intro. So, Rucker, you're going to be up. You're going to be up with the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
Right after this. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. The holiday season is one of the best times for sports. Bowl games, big basketball matchups, playoff pushes, it's all happening at once. And while we're all making choices every day, one of the most fun places to make the right call is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the easiest way to get in on daily fantasy. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, lock in your lineup, and you're in the game. It's simple, fast, and available in 45 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Creating a lineup takes less than a minute, and the app makes the whole process smooth and intuitive. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 off, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Okay, Rucker, pick number 20, Toronto Raptors on the clock. Where you going?
I think Toronto Metcalf is probably one of my least favorite teams to project because we always expect that they're going to go in a number of different directions. This is first year new front office, correct?
Yes, but the trick is that he was promoted from within.
There you go. So it's always a little bit of a curveball of trying to be like, well, what could he do? And you're like, oh, we're going to find out. So Toronto has been a pleasant surprise this year. I think they're finally starting their groove. They just took Colin Murray-Boyles last year. Got some really good pieces there. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. I'm gonna swing for a guy I think would be a great addition alongside Grady Dick there. I'm gonna go Cameron Carr, athletic sharpshooter, making some noise. Has been one of these players that's went to Tennessee, was like a four, I think it's 4 or 5 star recruit coming out of high school.
Fringe, like top 50 high school.
Yeah, top 50,
if not higher.
Just didn't get, consistent minutes there. Comes to Baylor this year, and he looks like a madman. Just, like so happy to be playing basketball. He plays hard. He's, I think, 6'5" with a 7'2" wingspan. He's got vines for arms, and he can shoot the cover off the ball. So let's get some more floor spacing. Let's get some upside. Let's get some potential, two-way potential.
I think that makes a ton of sense. Just the off-ball scoring, the off-ball shooting, the willingness and excitement that in the way that he attacks the rim and it seeks out contact. He's got some serious bounce to him too. But I think that floor spacing, playing off of guys like Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes and Colin Murray-Boyles is going to make life easier for them. And he's one of these guys that theoretically, at least, is plug and play with his physical tools, the shooting and the defensive playmaking. And the last 2 years, he's barely gotten minutes at all. And now he looks like one of the biggest breakout stars in the country. So that's really exciting for what his game could continue to look like 2 years down the road, 3-5 years down the road. So I like that pick a lot. I think he makes a lot of sense.
Appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you.
So much better than your second overall pick. I mean, my God.
All right, let's hear. Speaking of another pick, you got OKC.
All right, at pick number 21, Oklahoma City Thunder, courtesy of the 76ers. At number 6, they went Michael Brown Jr. I don't love going back to the guard well here, going back to the off-ball guard, combo guard well, but value's value. And they like taking upside. I like taking upside. I'm going Keaton Wagler, combo guard from Illinois.
That's a good pick. All things said and done, we have him going 21 right now. I think he could, he could go lotto. It would not surprise me moving forward. We got a long way to go in the draft cycle, but tremendous prospects. That would be one of those, if it happened on draft night, I'd be like, oh my gosh, there's the Thunder steal. There it is, the absolute gold mine. The Thunder found Keaton Wagler. They're going to turn it into a two-way monster. I love his game, so I think that's a great pick.
And he's just another one of these guys that keeps getting better. I don't know if you caught it or not, but he was incredible in that Missouri game. Just the way that he was playing on ball, playing off ball, defending at a high level, crashing the boards, playing off of 2 feet, really showcasing his balance, his body control, ability to get into the middle of the paint, spin back against his momentum, knock down mid-range pull-ups, run off double drags, move weak side defenders with his eyes, and then make pinpoint skip passes to, his teammate in the opposite corner. Is like, oh my God. How did this guy have 2 offers from Power 5 teams? It just never makes sense to me. And I get it. Like, that's a lot of guys of the same ilk with the Thunder, but some of them are eventually going to get priced out. And I don't think, given his physical standing right now with Wagler, I still think he's really skinny. And it's going to be tough for him to get big-time, legitimate, consistent NBA minutes as a rookie just because of that. They can be a little patient with them, bring them on more along in year 2. And they do such a good, they're like the only team that consistently is able to sit guys or bring them along slowly and still get the best out of them.
I think you just got to treat this as a baseball farm factory. Just keep bringing in these guys, and sooner or later, some guys are going to leave, and you're going to call them up, get them. You're in the starting lineup now. Like, it's just how the Thunder have operated. Take talent, figure it out later.
Okay. At pick number 22, Boston Celtics are on the clock. Where are you going?
I think, this is going to be a tough draft because right now in how this mock has gone out, I think Boston is going to be looking to try to add some front court depth. And there's also not a ton of bigs in this class that, I think there's points where these tiers are going to drop off quick with bigs. Guys like Adai Mara have gone before, Hans Steinbach, Chris Snack, I think would have been a juicy one for Boston, just given their, developmental stuff. So there's two names I really like here. I'm going to go with one I think might be a better fit for Boston's system. I'm going to go with Pat Ngongba from Duke. His playmaking, I think, would be a joy with that team.
Yeah.
Hugo Gonzalez has been the rookie no one's talking about. Yeah, and I think he's been tremendous for them. So you get year 2 of that. The defensive tools, Pat's interior defense is really good. Still got some questions about, when he gets out and switched on smaller guards and whatnot. But if a team's going to figure that out, it's the Celtics. So I kind of like that fit there. And it's tough to project guards there because I think they got a lot of depth and they're hoping, Jason Tatum's going to be ready to roll right out of the gate, I guess returning this year, which is really scary for a Celtics fan like myself. But there you go, my God.
They're playing so well. It's almost like
so well. I'm like, oh man,
it's like, no, don't do it. But maybe,
no, don't do it. But come on back.
Okay, I need help with Pat. I need help with Big
I
Pat.
need a lot of help with Pat
because I don't get it. And I'm not saying your pick. I'm saying overall, like in a vacuum, the passing rocks. I think he's probably going to be a viable pick and pop type guy.
It's the one part of his game that brings me back every time. It's like I'm like, oh, man, I'm struggling, and then all of a sudden I see him throw a couple passes a game, and I'm like, this is a weapon to have if you're going to be a 6'11", high field guy. I get it, but like the other name I was considering there is Henry Vasar, from North Carolina, who I think could be a really fun fit with Boston. So it's like, well, maybe you're getting that style where you can I think Boston at this point is just going to keep drafting like psychos. Like they're going to get Ugo, they're going to draft Vasar, who's just like people that are going to be like, we're going to play hard all the time and compliment,
God. So who would? Billy Richmond. Duh.
Billy Richmond would have been a great one. So that's a good article. We just do who's the next psycho for the Boston Celtics to draft. But focusing on Pat, he's a tough one because you could talk to some people that are be like, hey, I love him. I think he could go lottery. And then you talk to this is also a prospect that's been injury plagued for the last couple of years. So I think talking to scouts early in the year, I was like, hey, where are you at with Pat? They're like, I like him. I'm terrified of the medicals. I think he's going to be the medical guy in this class. So right now, I think at 22, that's value. If your medical team's like, hey, you get the green light from us, sure. Does Boston want to deal with the Robert Williams situation again? Probably not. So maybe they do go with someone like Vasar, who's more of a pick and pop consistent threat.
Yeah, and see the place I struggle with Pat the most, is on defense.
Yeah,
and like he's an awesome shot blocker, but it's almost like he's like allergic to leaving the restricted area, and anytime he steps past the free throw line, he looks terrified and just desperate to get back to the paint. And some of that is certainly scheme stuff with how Duke's using him, because Cam Boozer is game planted in the middle of the paint on defense a lot too. But I know Cam Boozer can move a lot better in space than Pat Ngongba can. And every time I watch him defend, I'm like, oh man, it feels like lazy. Like it's just giving me the ick and just like leaves a sour taste in my mouth every time, despite how good his block numbers are.
That's the problem, is because, look, we're watching guys, fans could hear this and be like, we're watching guys like Derek Queen, who were not great last year defensively in college. And it wasn't just, the tools, it was some of the effort defensively changed from game to game. And you're watching him just dominate offensively. And it's like, okay, yeah, but like, look at how dominant he had to be offensively to water down the concern. Also, look at New Orleans' record right now. Like, yes, Derek's having a fantastic year, but they're basically being like, do whatever you want. Like, we're trying to develop you as fast as possible. Pat's not that level of offensive player.
No.
He's a potential floor spacer. He's someone you can put the ball in his hands, and he makes great decisions with playmaking. Like if you're playing 5 out, but there's flashes offensively with footwork where you're like, oh man, there's some post up stuff. There's a lot of flashes. But I'm with you. The defense, when it's like, hey, NBA, someone will just bring him out on an island right away, because that's where he looks vulnerable. If you get him around the basket, he can ruin your life. Like he's really good shot blocker. You bring him out though, like that's where I need more convincing. And that's the tough part about scouting, is because I think sometimes guys just know how to flip the switch on and off in between possessions. And you're like, oh man, they get to the NBA and all of a sudden you're like, well, they're playing like their skin and hair's on fire. What's going on? So
and I didn't mean to turn this into the Pat and Garba negativity hour, because like he's a really interesting, intriguing player. It's also like an archetype of guy I always struggle with. So it's more just curiosity and just trying to figure out what to do.
It's not a negative hour. It's just a good therapy hour. We probably need a whole podcast episode on that. There we go. But I agree with you. It's a tough one for me. It's always, because you're like, big pass, that works. That'll work. A single big pass and shot blocker, like that has to work. And you're like, all right, there's more to that.
It's not a bad combination. All right, so you just got to pick for your Boston Celtics. Right after this, I'm selecting for my Minnesota Timberwolves, and shocker, the Oklahoma City Thunder have another pick. The season's heating up, and DoorDash has a way to keep fans in their bag the whole way through. Whether you're watching the highlights, the tunnel fits, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes the entire season more fun. Because every player has their bag, with DoorDash, fans have one too. DoorDash keeps your snacks stocked, your gear fresh, and your watch party vibes absolutely on point. There are nights when your team stresses you out. Let DoorDash become your post-game therapy. Sometimes you just need dessert now. From tip-off to overtime, stay in your bag and order DoorDash. Get snacks, drinks, gear, whatever gets you through the season, delivered right to your door. DoorDash, in your bag all season long. Okay, pick number 23, the Minnesota Timberwolves on the clock. The whole town knows, Frank, they need a point guard. And they're all gone. Basically all of them are gone. I think this time last draft when we did this like 6 weeks ago, I had my pick of Christian Anderson. I had my pick of Darius Acuff. Like Bennett Sturz may have even been in the conversation at this.
Not with this crew.
Yeah, true, fair. But like it was like, oh my god, like I can't go wrong here. This is incredible. Now they're all gone. Thanks, guys. It's just rude. So I'm gonna go to the next best thing. Wing creator, pseudo point guard. Got off to a scorching start. It's come back down to earth rather aggressively from Virginia Tech. I'm going Neo Avdilas.
Wow. I get it. Kind of the philosophy-wise, kind of like the anti-Rob Dillingham pick.
A little bit.
Like you're kind of swinging on the opposite of like, okay, now let's just get a jumbo potential like creator. But I get it. Look, also, if Neo was on the board at 23, I think that's way too juicy for a team to pass. So like you could probably even say Boston could have considered him at 22. They would be like, it's Neo. Like, look, if this clicks. But that's a fun one with Minnesota, because you could see it kind of working. You could also see him going there and after a couple of years being like, Neo's hanging out with Anthony Edwards all the time and has really turned into like a nightmare. You don't want to have to guard him, like rubbed off in the great way.
It's like he wouldn't have to do anything except take care of the ball, like initiate the offense, organize some stuff, knock down open shots when it swings to you, be competent on defense. Like I just think the level of responsibility would be way lower. Be playing with a true rim runner in Gobert, obviously. And the second coming, Johan Berenger next year. So I just based on pure upside value and potential positional need, he seemed like the best bet. Would there have been a different direction you would have looked?
As we're recording this, my man has had a couple cold games, but I think Braden Burries would be a fun like upside swing there. But look, Neo there, let's say it hits. You're looking at Neo, Anthony Edwards, Jaden, McDaniels, and then all of a sudden Gobert. Like, do you realize how gigantic that lineup is and potentially like transition, Berenger? So you're running out and you're like, well, the guy bringing it up is 6'9". Anthony Edwards is Anthony Edwards. McDaniels is, looks like the mind flare with his length. Like, so you get really dangerous all of a sudden because you're jumbo size, and Neo's playmaking would be tremendous for that team. So that's a really fun wild card that if that hits, oh my, Jalen Clark, it's a fun. Yeah, I like that pick, Metcalf. That's a good one.
All right. Next up, 24, the Oklahoma City Thunder are back on the clock, courtesy of the Houston Rockets. They've previously taken Michael Brown Jr. and Keaton Wagler. Where you're going?
Look, I'm the Thunder. We're doing backflips. We're with all these picks we got. We got Michael Brown. We got Wagler. We're just like, oh my gosh, this is great. We got two guards with serious potential to be here for the dynasty for years to come. I'm gonna go crazy and I'm gonna take another guard. Wow, shocker. This time it's more of a wing, but I'm gonna get a sharpshooter. I really think his best basketball is yet to come this year. I'm gonna take Isaiah Evans from Duke.
God, I hope it's yet to come.
The problem is, Metcalf, we're focusing too much on percentages and like, oh, he's supposed to shoot. I think we've seen a lot of growth in important areas for him. And yeah, wouldn't shock me if we get to conference play and it's like, oh, Isaiah forgot how to miss for like 2 weeks straight. So I like that value there. It's a tough spot because I don't think they're going to swing anywhere else. We don't project trades and mocks. I rest my case.
Yeah, and I think Henry Vasar, we kind of mentioned him a little earlier, could have made a little bit of sense here too. But I like the Evans pick a lot. My preseason Isaiah Evans agenda is in shambles, but he's also like the only perimeter player on that Duke team that defenses have to actually guard, and you can tell. Like they are constantly running him off the line, really sticking tight to him. He's not getting clean looks like he was last year or even at the beginning of the year. And like when they go to double Boozer in the post or something, that double's almost never coming off of Isaiah Evans. So I think he's in a tough spot, obviously with the Thunder. Very different, very different situation there. Probably clean looks galore. We've seen the defensive intensity ramp up a ton this year. And if they lose Isaiah Joe or Aaron Wiggins, I think he could probably fill into that role maybe a little sooner than people may think, and especially given his just current efficiencies.
He'd get the most amount of open looks he's ever got. It would just be ridiculous. So I like Vasar. That's a good shout out there too. But yeah, agree.
Alrighty. So just to recap real quick for this episode, at 19, Chris Senek to the Hornets, 20, Cam Carr to the Raptors, 21, Keaton Wagler to the Thunder, 22, Pat Ngongba to the Celtics, 23, Neo Avdilas to the Timberwolves, 24, Isaiah Evans to the Thunder. All right. Well, that'll do it for us this round of the mock. Corey and Albert will be back with picks 25 through 30 on Friday. Make sure to check it out. Who knows if they're going to go deep, if they're going to take some swings, if they're going to draft or fit. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting. I can promise you that. And at the very least, you're probably going to learn something. So why not? I hope everyone had a happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Stay warm, stay safe. Enjoy your time with family or just off from work or whatever it is. I hope it's going well. Thank you for listening to Locked On NBA Draft with no ceilings and making us your first listen every day.